Hello everybody and welcome to week 5 of the MLS next regular season for the South Florida Football Academy. We join you here today from M.A.D Sports Complex in Tampa Bay, Florida, just a couple of weeks after a terrible storm hit the West Coast. But luckily this complex survived and is gorgeous to play on here today. The field looks great. As the coach gets the team warmed up, we'll take a look at the starting lineup today. Coach Greg opting to have E.D start up front today as a starting striker, along with JC. Carapetian, Julian, Nick, and Martin make up the midfield, with Gavin, Lano, Matthew, Kawa in the backfield, and Brandon, our starting keeper. Coach Greg looks to be using E.D's size and speed to try to put it to good use up front and maybe break up some defense here. So Nick will have more opportunities to take shots from afar or from the midfield. We'll see what happens, but it can only spark this offense a little bit with E.D's positive energy and what he brings to the game. Nick, playing in the midfield, has done this before. Mainly, I think this is due to our starting center mid not being with us for the trip, Brian. But it's still a great starting lineup. Hopefully it's going to be magic for us here today as we take on a tough Tampa Bay team. This is definitely going to be the top team on the West Coast. As there are a number of teams on the West Coast to include this Tampa team. There are the Chargers, the Flames, IMG, quite a few teams out there that kind of draws on that talent pool from the West Coast of Florida. As the team warms up here, we should be starting soon. And as I mentioned earlier, M.A.D Sports Center has a number of turf fields as well as grass fields, and I'm glad to see that we're playing on the grass field here today, and what would be considered, I guess, the stadium setting of the M.A.D Sports Center, as the field is enclosed with a metal fence. It is still relatively hot here in South Florida. As you'll see, a number of fans have deployed their umbrellas in order to seek shade, and there is very little wind. As you can tell by the moss hanging from that tree, it is barely moving. So it is hot, steamy, and humid here in Tampa Bay as the team huddles together to try to spark some emotion before the game so they can come out with some fire in their bellies. Something that South Florida has been lacking is early goals. So we'll see how this game turns out today with this new lineup. I can definitely see some sparks flying today, and we'll see how it goes. So here we are for the kickoff. Looks like Tampa Bay is going to start with the ball. As the referee signals, he's checking with the goalies. And we are sure to be off here. And here we go. As Tampa Bay kicks the ball off, E.D applying pressure as well as JC. Tampa Bay working the ball down the left side. Some nice ticky-taka offense here as they move the ball back to the midfield and now working their own right side as Carapetian tries to apply some pressure. Now Gavin. Now to Lano. Lano stopping that attack. As Tampa Bay manages to keep the ball inside, Lano now going down the sideline as we lose him for a second due to a fan blocking our cameras. And ball out of play. All right, throw in for Tampa as they get this one down the line. Gavin able to deal with it. For another throw. Tampa quick to throw it in as they work this ball back to the midfield. Nick now applying pressure, comes away with the ball, and he is on the run. Here we go, another fine touch by him as he runs down that right sideline, gets the ball off to E.D, who's also off to the races, trying to make a quick move. Back pass to Nick, didn't make it. And Tampa Bay looks like they worked themselves out of a jam there as we were on a run and heading towards goal. Tampa Bay quick to pass this one out to the right side. Carapetian applies the pressure with a nice slide tackle, putting the ball out of bounds and in the touch for Tampa. Well, that was a heck of a run by Nick and getting that ball up to E.D, just working out some of the kinks here, but fine attacking by South Florida so far as Tampa passes this one back and is now working the ball on the left side, a little too much for their player, and it is into touch for South Florida throw. Kawa is going to take this one as he throws it up to Martin. Martin able to come down with it, but has the ball kicked away by a Tampa player. SFFA still in control. Looking for a player on the sideline. Spots JC with a short throw. JC back to Kawhi. Kawhi working it backwards. Short touch. Matthew wasn't sure whether or not to go or stop as he wrestles with the Tampa Bay player. Slide tackle. Manages to slow him down as Tampa Bay gets this ball across into the middle, looking for the side on the right side. They find one player who's in the open as Gavin's trying to get there to apply pressure to him. He takes a quick touch out to the right, gets the cross off. This one is dealt with nicely. Karapish now on the run. As he's looking up the field, he finds Edon. Edon now doing some touches on the ball here, trying to make some movement. Finds JC, and he is off to the races. As JC gets his head up, he spots Edon again, but a Tampa Bay player gets in front of that one, but it gets back to JC. JC now in the middle of the field, looks back, finds Nick. Nick takes a quick touch out to the right, now is dribbling up through the middle of the field. He's got a shot, and it's a goal. It's a beautiful goal. Awesome start to the game, 1-0 South Florida. Nick with a banger up into the top of the goal. Goalie jumped, but just couldn't get a finger to it, and it is 1-0 South Florida here in Tampa Bay. Wow, what a turn of events here. South Florida coming out early and striking for the first time probably all season. As JC passes this ball back, Nick looks ahead of him, analyzes the field, sees what he has in front of him, makes a quick move out to the right, then cuts through the center of this defense to a big gap, and just so much room to shoot. And just over that goal, as you can see, he jumped up as high as he could, but just couldn't get there. And for the first time, we actually have an overhead view of this goal. As we can see, like I said, Nick cut through and just miles of space to take that shot. And man, what a beautiful goal. And you could just see that back line of Tampa Bay did not move up in order to address the threat. And that gave Nick the time and space to make that shot. And a beautiful left-footed shot it was. 1-0, and we'll see how Tampa Bay answers back as they are passing in their backfield with relative ease. There's very little pressure here, and now South Florida will start to tighten up as they get across the midfield. Looking for that long ball on the right side yet again as Gavin and Julian work nicely to get that ball under control. Lano back out to Julian. Julian now looking around the field. He's going to go back to Lano. See if they switch the side. Looks like Lano wants to. As he plays back to the keeper. Keeper back to Lano. Lano looking around the field, finds Gavin. Things are starting to get pretty tight in that corner as Tampa Bay gets closer and closer. Lano plays this one across, headed by a Tampa Bay player who gets control of the ball. And Cowell there to get a foot to it. But Tampa Bay remain control and pass it around back to the other side as they find that same player out on the right wing. As he's making a dribbling chance to get through, but he is stopped by Karapishin. And then Tampa Bay works the other side. This is something that we see time and time again against these teams as they work the ball from side to side, side to side. Lano stepping in there on that pass and takes it away, passes it up to JC. JC now looking around, finds Kawa, but Kawa gives it back. And looks like Matthew's going to deal with this one. No, he passes it up to Kawa. Kawa now off to Martin. Martin in trouble, trying to get it to JC, just can't find him, and it's going to be a Tampa Bay throw. As I mentioned before, this seems to be a strategy employed by every team that South Florida comes up against. They pass and pass and pass until they find an opportunity in order to get the ball into an area when they want to do some dangerous shooting or possibly runs, as Nick intercedes on that one, kicking the ball out of play. But it is definitely frustrating, I'm sure, for the South Florida players as they're trying their best to try to contain this Tampa Bay team, but they just keep on adding players to the problem. As this ball is tipped, Julian gets a piece of it and is able to put it up the field. Tampa Bay putting it back into play. Gavin to Karapishin. Karapishin now on the ball. Finds Edon. Edon making a run up the field. A little too heavy of a touch there as Tampa Bay starts working this ball again back up the right side. Nick coming over to apply some pressure as this ball is played down the line to the right side. Lano there easily controls that ball, passes it to Matthew. Matthew looking up the field, finds Nick. Nick looking across, plays the ball up the field to JC. JC controlling that ball with his chest, bringing it down and looking for another pass and finds Edon. Edon now again off to the races, trying to get that ball off, just can't do it in time as Tampa Bay comes and takes it. Now again, playing the ball up the right side to number 16. 16 galloping through the middle of the field as Nick tries a slide tackle there. Gives the ball off. This is some nice passing by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay in a dangerous spot here in the middle of the box as they play this ball across, and it's another dink over the midfield. Shot on goal. Oh no, it squeaks through. Oh! 1-1. Ball squeaked through. It looked like Brandon had handled it. I think it just got by him. And 1-1. Here we are, tied up. As you can see, this ball's played across. It's in between Brandon and the bar. It looks like he tipped it into the bar, and it just fell back into play, and it was an easy tap in for 16. I think the defense was looking for an offsides there, but they did not get it. And it's a little too hard to tell from our angle whether or not there was an offsides. But irregardless, the referees didn't call it. And we are all even here, only 11 minutes into the game. Kirpician trying to play this ball backwards, unable to do so, as Lano deals with this one, and it's out into touch for Tampa. Well, as quickly as it came, it is gone. 1-1 as Nick gets this ball back for South Florida. Plays this ball back to Gavin. Gavin playing it back and across to Lano. Lano now looking up the field. Plays the ball to Kawa. Kawa up the field, and Tampa Bay intercepts. And now they're going to work the ball here for a little bit as they just try and find passage. JC gets on that one, but not enough to get an attack going. As Kawa comes away with this one, but gives it back to Tampa. And we just seem to be in an exchange of possession here as Tampa Bay plays this one far down the field. This one kind of takes an awkward bounce, but Lano comes away with it, plays it safe, and goes back to the keeper. Brandon then punts it up the field to a waiting Edon. Edon over to JC. Let's see if we can work that magic once again. As JC looks across the field, he tries to get that one to Kirpician, who's on the run, but a Tampa Bay player was there to deal with it, and they calmly play it out to the right side. Gavin up tight on 16. He is not messing around and is called for the foul. That looks like it was shoulder. It looked like 16 stepped on the ball, and that's what caused them to go down. But the referee didn't see it that way and called the foul, the first of the game, as Tampa Bay plays this ball back. Tampa Bay mainly looking for possession, very calmly passing it around, not looking to advance until they're comfortable in doing so, as they pass this ball out to the left side. And 21 passes this one down. 20 to pass it down to 21. And Lano's there to put it into touch. Nice little intervention there as Tampa was starting to get it again into our own third of the field. And we await the throw. Here comes Matthew. This ball's going to be out of bounds. And it's going to be a goal kick for South Florida. Brandon looks to take this one quickly. As he scans the field, he's going to put the ball down here and plays it up to Matthew, who's now switched sides with Lano. Matthew to Gavin. Gavin looking up the field, plays the ball long, looking for Edon, couldn't find him. Julian now kicks it up the field, looking for Nick, can't find him, as Tampa Bay is now in control in the middle of the field. And Kirpician applying the pressure there. And the ball is played out to the left as JC is trying to get it back for South Florida. Tampa Bay looking to pass back but doesn't. Passes around. Just finding feet right now. Calmly on the ball is the name of the game for Tampa Bay. As they work this very well. And a nice move by 21 of Tampa, but that ball just continues to roll down the field. Ball's into touch. And Kawana is looking to make a throw. Finds Martin down the field. Martin trying to get something going there. But looks like it's going to be a foul. As Martin gets a bit of the foot there of the Tampa Bay player. Free kick for Tampa in a dangerous spot, but they choose to play it back. And continuing to pass and pass. Here comes Martin with a nice slide tackle taking that one away from, and gets punished for his attempt there. As that beautiful slide tackle, it comes up with the ball, and it starts to move this downfield, and then just is taken out by the Tampa Bay player. How that's not a yellow card, I don't know, because there was absolutely no play for the ball there. He just knocked him in the next week. As we take the free kick short, trying to work something through, but can't. It just seems to be a mad scramble for the ball here. The Tampa Bay player dances on the ball before he crosses it, and it goes into touch as well. And we'll see what we got here. First corner of the game for Tampa. And here's the approach. The ball is short. Brandon comes out to punch. Martin clears it as best he can, and he does well because he finds Edon. Edon kicking the ball up the field, finds JC, and here we go, off to the races. JC finds Edon. Edon takes a nice touch forward. He's trying to get there to this diminutive Tampa Bay player, but comes into contact with him. Oh, he's not happy with that call, but it goes Tampa Bay's way. And I think really this is just, the referee taking his own stance on this. I think he just went with the Tampa Bay being smaller. He's the one that got fouled, but it doesn't appear to be that way, as Tampa Bay has a free kick in their own half. Playing it to the goalie, playing it back to the original kicker. Tampa just taking advantage of whatever space they have to whatever players they can get it to. Racks up a lot of passes and a lot of completions as Nick puts some pressure on here and comes away with it. And it's a fight. It is a fight for this ball. No foul called. As looks like Martin comes away with it, gets it off to Julian. Julian trying to take a swipe at it, but is deflected. Karapetian's now on the ball. He's getting pressured. He's got two defenders on him, and a push to the ground, and a foul. Well, I will tell you, this Tampa Bay team is not hesitating at all to be rough in their play, as this is the second time one of our players is pushed to the ground. At least this one, you could say he was attempting to get the ball, the Tampa player, but there wasn't really else there. As we line up to take this kick, Nick sends it in, looking for Edon. Tampa Bay player deals with it, but not till it's the top of the box. Kawhi tries to put it back into play, but this one goes up the field for Matthew. Matthew kicks it up, looking to get it back on the bounce, pressuring that Tampa Bay player, but James can't come away with it, but they are forced back. Playing the ball down the line, and it's out in the touch for South Florida. Well, we're definitely getting some more opportunities here, and we'll see what we can get as we move forward. As Martin comes away with that throw in. And going to be another throw for South Florida. Well, Tampa Bay is not looking to give up the line. They are viciously defending their lines, not allowing us to move that ball up. They're forcing us, as that ball pings off of a Tampa Bay player's face. They are forcing us to try to play the ball in the middle as Matthew comes away with this one, is playing it across to Gavin. Gavin takes an awkward pass back to Brandon. Brandon's going to have to deal with this one, and kicks it out of bounds just to be safe. All right, Tampa back on the ball. So we wait this throw in. Patient there to play to Gavin. Gavin to Julian. Julian back to Gavin. Gavin trying to get Karapetian. He does. But a Tampa Bay player comes away with that one, and they're back in the box. Lano being careful, trying not to make contact with this player as Julian deals with this one, getting it out to Edon, using the most of his size and frame to try to body off that ball. Tampa Bay comes away with it. Now Karapetian back on it. Back to Julian. Julian fighting to try to find a pass. Finds Gavin out on the left back side. Okay, up to Karapetian. Karapetian now making some moves. Can't find Nick on that pass. And Tampa Bay is again challenging here in our own third. As they get this ball up through the middle, this is dangerous shot. And it's dealt with by Lano. Good save by Lano there to prevent another goal. As Karapetian gets this ball out on the left side, plays it off to Nick. Nick trying to make some moves happen, but the ball is kicked out of bounds by Tampa Bay players. We take another look here. Looks like Lano just gets a foot to that ball, preventing that goal. Whew. As this throw goes back to Matthew. Matthew plays it over to Lano. Lano plays it back to Brandon. Brandon up to Lano. Lano off to the right side, finding Kawhi. as Kamal plays the ball down the line, finding Edon. Edon, again, muscling off defenders, looking around, scanning the field, trying to find a pass. Goes to Julian. Julian now going up the field, finds Kawa. Kawa now scanning. Makes a long pass into Edon, who chests it down just a little too much off of him, though. As this ball goes backwards to Lano. Lano to Julian. Julian now looking around. We got a little bit more space to operate as Martin finds Nick. Nick now looking for magic. Will it strike twice? He's back in that same spot. This time the Tampa Bay defender stands tall. Although that looked like he got a little bit more piece of Nick than he did the ball. As Gavin comes away within this one, he plays ticky-tack with Julian. Now looking off to the right side, looking for JC, but only finds a Tampa defender. And this ball's into touch. Let's take another look at this. Oh, no, Tampa Bay player did get the ball in that one. But he did make contact with Nick after the fact. But good call by the referee, not blowing a foul there, as that appeared to be all ball. JC now working with Martin on the right side, trying to get this ball into a dangerous spot, possibly for a cross. Playing it back to JC. JC looking around, looking for the long pass, had it blocked. Back to JC on the throw-in. And flag on that one, looks like it's going to be a foul for Tampa. Tampa Bay quick to take this kick. Moving the ball again. Long ball up to 16 this time, but Gavin's there to deal with it. Plays it to Carapation. Number 20 from Tampa, able to track that one down. As Tampa, again, patient with time, passing the ball backwards to safety, and then back around the horn. Nice cut in by the Tampa player. And Carapation there again to deal with it, but this time is called for the foul. As it looked like he got the ball to me before making contact with the player. I don't even see how you can say that was dangerous play because his toe was down. But irregardless, referee made the call. Tampa Bay again playing back, as that one was a little dangerous. And this is going to be a throw for South Florida. South Florida applying a little bit more pressure, not allowing Tampa this frivolity to pass as they please in the backfield. And why not? If you have a Don back there, let him apply the pressure. He's someone that's been shown that he can run all game long and give you the same intensity from start to finish. So why not take advantage of it? As this ball goes into touch once again. Tampa Bay now trying to move the ball down the right side. Carapation there, gets it to Nick. Nick back to Julian. Julian over to Martin. Martin now has got his head up. He's looking around. He finds JC. JC's waiting on the ball. He's doing some footwork here, trying to move the ball back into the middle. Finds Julian. Julian pops the ball over. Finds Martin. Martin has a hard touch on that ball and is hassled by the Tampa Bay player until he gave it away. Tampa Bay now back on the ball, passing it back, as they have been known to do throughout this game. Now moving the ball down the left side. 21 trying to get around Kawa. Looks like Kawa got the ball there, but we have another foul call. As we take another closer look, looks to me like he got the ball. Maybe he came across the Tampa Bay player, but irregardless, another foul against South Florida. As Tampa Bay again has a free kick. This time they don't take it short. They're trying to get it to a player, which they do. And he's coming across the field. He finds number 2 to 16. 16 has been dangerous all day. Oh! How is that not a foul there? He dribbles the ball. Carapation gets his foot on the ball, and then he just hits him like a football player, American football, and just knocks him to the ground. Where is the foul there? But nothing is called. Throw in for South Florida as we throw this ball long, looking for Edon. Find Carapation in the end. And this Tampa Bay defender just can't seem to get a handle on it, and it plays out of bounds. The game is definitely getting more physical as the fouls keep rolling in. However, I failed to see where the hard fouls have been from South Florida. I've seen a lot worse from Tampa. But no card has been shown yet as we get some more quick triangle passing from Tampa Bay. This ball goes long to 16, and it finds him. Matthews there trying to deal with him, but he does a quick cut inside. Gavin is there, 16 keeps fighting through. This ball is loose. It's on the ground. It pops up in the air. Brandon comes down with it. Oh no, the ball comes loose again. And it's headed in by Kawhi. Oh my goodness. What is going on here? This ball is bouncing around like a super ball. Looks like Brandon comes down with it. Looks like the ground caused the ball to pop back up, and that Tampa Bay player was just in a good spot. I mean, Kawhi, you can't really blame Kawhi for that one. That one was going in here regardless. He did his best to try to head the ball away. It just happened to go in, and it's 2-1 Tampa here on a ball that is ridiculously bouncy, where Brandon couldn't come down with it, and it just goes into the back of the net. What else can you say here, folks? It is a crazy game sometimes, and the ball bounces funny. 2-1, and this is a goal kick for South Florida. Brandon puts it on the ground, plays it out to Matthew. Matthew up the field to Julian. Julian looking around, finds Kawhi. Oh, correction. Didn't find Kawhi. He almost got it to him, but it went into the touch for Tampa Bay. As they look around, and you can see their players starting to warm up on the sidelines. They might be making a switch soon. As Lano deals with this pass. Martin now applying the pressure on the left side of Tampa. Gets by, cross, but into the side netting of the net for another South Florida goal kick. Played quickly out to Lano. Lano now up the field, but doesn't find a South Florida player. As this ball comes down, Tampa again able to find feet just anywhere they want to, as their players continue to continuously move and shift into the spaces that South Florida are not controlling. And another shot, this one clearly over the bar. As we take a look at our FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 is right around the corner. And Panini sticker books are world renowned. For each World Cup that comes up, they issue a sticker book with all the players that will be competing in that competition. If you have a chance, stop by, pick one up. I know Matthew from Mad About Soccer has his own sticker book and is looking to complete it. So if you have any stickers, be sure to stop by and see if you can perform a trade. As Matthew takes control of this one, he plays it up the field. Carapation there, luckily, but unfortunately gets fouled. Actually, fortunately gets fouled, I should say. And relatively soft foul compared to the ones that they've completed before. But again, it's another push in the back as Matthew steps up to take this free kick. And he looks long. He's looking for a dime, but Tampa has started to figure out that we're trying to hit the big man. And are now fronting him as well as getting behind him. As Carapation comes down with this one and passes it back to Gavin. Gavin passed it over. Lano kind of backed up. I don't know if we knew where that ball was going. But he ends up dealing with the Tampa Bay player that did come down with it. As Tampa takes another shot, Brandon's able to grab this one and comes down with it. Looking a little loose in the back here. This is a little concerning for South Florida. As this ball again gets turned over to Tampa, and they are still in a dangerous area. Don applying the pressure, trying to make something happen, as JC comes over and deals with this ball, and is out of bounds for South Florida. A little disorganization in the back, maybe caused by these two goals. I'm not sure, but the passes are going a little off target. We need to get our composure back if we're going to be back into this game, which we still are at this point, 2-1. As this ball bounces around, now Thiago in. Thiago trying to make something happen down this sideline. Finds Edon. Edon, nice touch back out to the outside, trying to find someone to pass to. Finds Carpathian. Edon now up to Thiago. Thiago having some stumble with the ball, but able to control it. He's getting into a rhythm. Tries to pass it back to Carapation, but unfortunately finds a Tampa Bay player. And they again work this ball down the left side of their own side, but finds Lano. Lano trying to play it up to someone, but there is unfortunately nobody there. Moore is also checked in for South Florida. As this ball comes down the left side, cross. Matthew there to try to head it away, and Gavin kicks it clear. As Tampa Bay tries to deal with this 27, putting it back into our side. And they cross it yet again. This time they find a player. Now 16 back on the ball, who shifted more to a middle role. Number 30 now takes a shot right at Brandon, really no oomph on it. And so far, Tampa is definitely out-shooting us and outplaying us at this stage in the game as Matthew plays this one out to Gavin. Gavin back to Matthew, and Matthew plays it over to Julian into space. Julian finds Lano. Lano looking around the field. Looks long. Over the head of Nick. And back into Tampa Bay possession. 16 coming across. Finds a player. Finds number 2. Number 2 on the right side. Crossing again. This one dealt with by Lano. Another Tampa Bay player heading it down. Mora's going to come in. Mora gets a nice touch, and Mora's off to the races. Gets the ball off to Edon. Edon's in the running room here. This is trouble. Makes a nice touch. Yes, nice turn. Go. Oh, and it's just kicked away by the Tampa Bay player. We were in a dangerous space there. It's been the first time in a while that we've been in a dangerous space, and it was all started by this. Mora's nice touch on that. Able to get space and make the pass into an area where Edon can run. And unfortunately, Edon just couldn't make that last little run here as the Tampa Bay players were able to recover and play that one out of bounds. So it's going to be whoa, it wasn't called for a corner. Unbelievable. They called goal kick on that. That is crazy to me. How did they call a goal kick on that one when it was clearly kicked away by the Tampa Bay player? All right, well, here we are. South Florida trying to apply pressure in the back. Mora now on the left back. Julian up top, gets a piece of it, able to force them back here, and it's a throw-in for Tampa Bay. All right, Julian now playing up the ball. Plays it back to Gavin. Gavin back to Matthew. Matthew's going to be forced to place it all the way back to the goalie, Brandon. And South Florida is going to be starting from their back. Brandon plays this ball far up the field, looking for JC, but well read by the Tampa Bay player. Carpathian able to play that ball back to Edon, who's now more in a defensive role. And Carpathian is now up the field, looking for someone to pass to. Has to go back to JC. JC back to Carpathian. And just a little too much of a touch as JC comes up to pound this ball back into the Tampa Bay half of the field. Their goalie out quickly to grab it. So we have a Sunshine player that joined us today, number 9. And it's his first MLS start, or I should say first MLS game from the Sunshine division. Hopefully he can bring some much needed energy to this South Florida team, get us back into this game. As we are down 2-1 as Edon forcefully sends this ball up the field to Nick. Nick looking around, finds JC with a nice ball over the top of the defender. And yet again, this ball is punted back down the line as Edon deals with it and shepherds it out of bounds. About 33 minutes have passed in this game as we wait for halftime. Ball's in. Tampa Bay now on it in our own half. Passing backwards, number 19 from Tampa. Up the field to 16. 16 been trouble all day. Gets around Gavin. And he's in a dangerous area now. He's going to shoot. And Brandon blocks that one on the near post. Good save by Brandon. Brandon now punting the ball up the field. We no longer have Edon up there to try to win that. So it's going to be difficult, but Nick comes away with it. Nick finds Mora. Mora going down the field, trying to fight off 2 defenders here. Very difficult position for him, but he's fending him off well. And Mora down the line, trying to get that cross off with his left foot, strikes it, hits the Tampa Bay defender, and it goes into touch. As we take another look here, this number 16, he's got a lot of time. Matthew comes out to try to block it, and Brandon quick to get down in order to prevent that ball from going in on the near post. So thank goodness we were able to prevent the 3-1 score line before the half as that ball is taken and Tampa comes away with it and is now on the march going up the field. South Florida a little exposed here as this ball is placed nicely down the field. Edon's there to run down number 8 from Tampa and comes away with the ball and kicks it back up the field. But Tampa still coming away with it here. And they're placing this ball up the field. JC there this time. And Edon playing it over to Gavin. Gavin playing it to Julian. Julian now looking upfield, has that pass blocked. Number 16 comes away with it from Tampa. He plays it across. Julian gets down to get that one. But it's still in play. Matthew now in front of the defender. Julian playing it across. Oh, man, this is some... Oh, no, another cross. But this one safely into Brandon's hands as the keeper stands up tall. Whew. Some frantic play here in our own half. Not building the confidence that we need going into the second half of the game as we give the ball away again. And Tampa Bay calmly on the ball. We're trying to pressure, but it seems everywhere we look there is an open Tampa Bay player. As Thiago is now trying to come away with this one. JC up. Nice ball played down the line. Tampa Bay is cutting into the middle here. They play it up front. Nice shot. Oh, Matthew gets in there for the block, and it's going to be a corner. So we take a look at that. It looks like he got the back of his leg, and this is going to go out for another corner for Tampa Bay. Well, Tampa Bay definitely has their foot on the gas and doesn't show any signs of stopping. And here comes another deep ball into our own box. Gavin there to get a foot to it. Oh, Brandon, what a save, but... Oh, it's all going to be offsides. Offsides. What a save by Brandon. The ball lands. There's a number 16 was just in there waiting. And it's going to be called offsides. Brandon makes a great save there. It lands right to the number 16's feet. Luckily called offsides. And whew, did we dodge a bullet there. But another great save by Brandon as he looks to make this pass into play. Edon now on the ball. Playing it up the field to Thiago. Thiago loses it. And Tampa Bay again is on our own half. Tampa Bay calmly passing this ball around. It's going to go out of bounds as Edon shepherds it out. Tampa was trying to make him pay for it. And Brandon's in possession of the ball as we wait for some changes. So it's got to be tiring out there playing this defense. If you don't think it's tiring playing defense, try doing it for about 30 minutes, which is what South Florida has done. As Brandon kicks this ball to Matthew. Matthew trying to get it off to Mora. Actually finds him through a deflection off of the Tampa Bay number 16. I think we're just trying to get to halftime at this point as Mora throws this ball long up the field. Can't find anybody, but there is a foul, which looks like another push in the back, and it is from the Tampa Bay player. I wonder how many times the referee's going to let that occur until he finally shows a yellow card. I guess time will tell as Matthew takes this one short to Julian. Julian back to Matthew. Matthew nowhere to go. He's forced to play back to Gavin. Gavin back over to Don. And now South Florida playing the game and working the ball from side to side. As JC is now on this ball, and he's looking to make trouble. Carapation to Thiago. Thiago is head up, looking around. Has to go back to JC. JC now working the ball backwards to Gavin. And we have halftime. So all that passing for nothing. As we reach halftime and score 2-1, Tampa Bay. Coach Greg's going to be addressing the boys here, trying to get something going for this second half. We moved Edon back to center back, so we'll see if that makes any difference in the second. First half game stats, as you can see, we are actually outpassing Tampa Bay, which is kind of hard to believe. But we have 157 passes to their 125, completing 125 of our passes to 109 of theirs, for 79% for us, 87% for them. So a much higher passing completion for them. We have one shot on goal, one shot, which resulted in our goal. They have 7 shots, 5 of which are on goal, 2 being in the basket. 6 fouls for us, 5 fouls for them, and a number of corners. So, oddly enough, the passing is on our side, but honestly, Tampa Bay has mainly been operating out of our own side of the field, so they really haven't had that many opportunities to create passing combinations. As this ball is kicked back to Adon, and Adon sends it way into the Tampa Bay area for what is going to be a South Florida throw. So yeah, most of that half, Tampa Bay just wasn't committing that many passes because they were in our half. So a lot of it was one pass, shoot, and it doesn't really build up your stats in the passing arena as they're trying to get out of their own half for once. Martin on the ball now, playing it into the middle, trying to find Carpathian. Julian now trying to find somebody. Martin back on the ball. For once the ball is falling our way as this one lands at JC's feet. He takes a shot and it just goes wide of the net. Well, at least we're starting off the half the way we want it to be, as it's definitely more pressure from the South Florida team. JC gets in a nice spot and gets a good foot to this ball. Looks like it maybe just went off a little off his toe, which resulted in it going wide of the net. But still, positive play from South Florida, which we hope we see more of, as we have definitely increased the pressure on Tampa Bay, committing more players forward. We'll see if this works out for us as JC now works over here to the right side. Tampa Bay able to find a player that they're looking for. Matthew comes up the field. And now it looks like Martin is all over their number 30. It's getting a little bit tighter out there for Tampa Bay as JC gets ahead to that ball and is going to make something happen now. And ball's in the touch for Tampa. Tampa playing it back now, a long ball. Edon there to handle it. Heads it to Matthew. Matthew plays it back to Edon. Edon up to JC. JC cutting through the defense. Fortunately, too many defenders there to deal with. Oh, but they made an error. And this ball is played up the field. Unfortunately, not enough speed there for us to do anything with it as Matthew plays this one back into the middle. Looking for Nick. Just can't find him. This ball played long. Up the field. Kind of a ping pong right now. Carpathian comes away with it. Playing over to JC. JC in a nice spot. Plays it across the field. Finds Julian. Julian to Martin. Martin trying to play it across. And Tampa Bay is going to be able to clear this one, it looks like, as they try to work this ball down the line. But no, Gavin comes away with it and tries to play it back to Julian. Able to get it back off of a deflection from Julian's foot. And we're going to play it safe and go back to Lano. Our original defenders are back in their positions for the second half. Adon and Lano, our typical starting center backs, are back where they were. Matthew out on the right side and Gavin out on the left as Nick gets this one back to Lano. Lano playing it over to Gavin. Gavin down the field. Could not find Martin as Tampa Bay comes away with this ball once again and is now working the ball down the side. Little pull of the arm there. No call. As Tampa Bay retains possession and keeps moving this ball forward. Nice little move by their number 30. Number 10 now on the ball. Dribbling down the sideline. But hits Gavin. Gavin gets it over. Lano kicks it up the field. Don now on the ball. He's looking for a pass. Finds Matthew. Matthew looking up the field. See if he can find somebody. Cannot. Ball goes back up. Matthew back on the ball. Trying to go forward. And there's a foul called on Tampa Bay. Looks like they got a little rough with Matthew as he was trying to move this ball up the field after taking it off the Tampa player. Yeah, got a little handsy there on the jersey. Just testing the durability of the Capelli shirt, as players have been known to do. Edon now takes this ball, kicks it long and over to the left side. Nice curling ball. But Tampa Bay comes away with it and plays the ball back. And he's continuing to pass this ball very effectively until they found JC. JC now on the ball. And another foul called. This one again. Tampa, yet again, wanting to test this durability. Oh, and there's a nice little elbow to the back of JC. As Edon again belts this one down the line. Looking to the middle. And, South Florida player finds it, number 9. Number 9 back in the ball, playing it back to Gavin. Gavin looking up, plays that ball down the middle to the Carpathian. Carpathian just couldn't handle it. But Julian now fighting for this. And Tampa Bay comes away with it. Matthew on the trot backwards as Lano was forced to chase this ball. Thought he was going to get to it, just wasn't going to happen. But Brandon came away with it and picks it up. Brandon quickly plays this ball on the ground to Udon. Udon now trotting up the field, looking to bring that defender in a little bit closer before he makes the pass to Matthew. Matthew back to Udon. Udon looking up the field. Another long ball up the field, finds number 9. Number 9 to Karapetian. Karapetian over to JC. Matthew moving up the field now, trying to overlap. JC finds Nick. Nick is now in the open. Tries to pass through the middle of Karapetian, couldn't find him. And goalkeeper for Tampa Bay kicks it away. Oh, nice slide tackle by Julian. Julian trying to come away with it, trying to make something happen here. Oh, and a mad scrum for the ball results in a foul, which Tampa Bay will be the benefactor of. Trying to take this quickly. Let's take another look. That looks like all ball to me. There's another ball. And it looks like he kicked ball again. I'm not really sure what the foul call was there, but whatever it was against Julian. As they play this ball down the line, Tampa. JC applying the pressure, as he's prone to do. Not letting this little guy get away, and unfortunately commits the foul. Well, that's one thing JC brings to the field is intensity. He definitely wants to win that ball, and he's going to do what he has to do in order to do it. And unfortunately, sometimes that results in a foul. But good foul nonetheless. The players shake hands, and they are back off to the races, Tampa Bay. As Karapetian, nice slide tackle. Oh, thought he could have come away with that one. Just couldn't do it, and is called for the foul. Well, I'll tell you, these guys, they play with their heart and their soul, and they're trying to get in there. They're trying to get involved. And the referees sometimes see that and think that, oh, they must be committing a foul while doing that. And sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. As Tampa Bay took that one quickly, is now trying to work it. You can see South Florida is definitely playing more physical this half than they did the last, contesting every ball that's near them. As Tampa Bay is playing this ball back and forth. Lano there to deal with that one. So it's a pass forward, pass back, and then ball over the top for Tampa now, where it was pass, cross in the first half. So they changed it up a little bit. Same result, though, is they are being successful to some degree, although South Florida is dealing with the long ball. Here comes a cross. Oh, no. Oh, beautifully passed ball across. You can just see this ball. Matthew tries to get a foot to it, can't do it. Brandon on his line, tried to get his arms up in time, but I mean, what can you do? That's the beautiful game right there, ladies and gentlemen. That was a better pass you could not find, a better cross you could not find, and he just got his foot to it, and it was nothing but the back of the net. Unfortunately, 3-1 Tampa Bay. Such a promising start to the second half. South Florida looked like they were pressuring. It looked like in time we were going to get that second goal. And then that happens. And it just takes the wind out of your sails as Udon kicks this ball up the field. Tampa Bay is back in control. Matthew heading the ball down. JC playing across to Nick. Now Nick on the run. Let's see if he can make something happen here as he plays this ball up the field. Unfortunately, there's no South Florida player there. Tampa Bay now working the ball again. Oh, that's an errant pass there. Let's see if we can benefit on it. We do. Karapetian comes away with the ball. He now switches it off to Martin. Martin's got his head up. He plays the ball across, looking for JC, and he finds him. JC now running. Oh, looked like he got a piece of JC on that tackle. JC playing it back to Matthew. Matthew with the cross. Nick up. Oh, just couldn't get ahead to it. Martin there trying to make the best of it and can't come away with it. Tampa Bay now trying to make it best what they can as all the South Florida players are forward. But Julian there to intervene in that attack. Comes away with the ball. Finds Martin. And the ball is into touch for another South Florida throw. Well, that was a heck of a cross by Matthew. Just wish we could have got ahead to that one. Maybe it could have started some kind of rally for South Florida if we had got the 3-2 as Nick brings this ball down. He looks like he's determined to get on the attack now. In a dangerous spot, takes a shot, but it bounces in front of the keeper and it's an easy save. Well, there's Tampa Bay keeper is diminutive in size, but not in his ability to goal keep, as he has not had much work there, but what work he has had, he's been able to stop thus far, with the exception of Nick's goal in the beginning of the game. Tampa Bay now working this ball around, and just not enough players in the back to apply the pressure required, but JC comes away with it once they got a little bit too forward. Matthew now plays to Julian. Julian back over to JC. JC looking up the field, finds Karapetian. Karapetian now running through the middle, finds number 9. Number 9 trying to pass back to Nick, but can't find him, as Tampa Bay is now back on the run here. Errant pass through the middle. Edon comes away with it, but cannot find a South Florida player to pass to. Another bad pass by Tampa. And we get the ball off to the left side, as Martin is now on the run, trying to make the best of what he can with the ball. Has to pass back to Nick. Nick, he tries to make a run with the ball and cannot go anywhere. Here's that shot again by Nick. As you see, he gets around the defenders. Takes that nice little touch and just hits it with the side of his foot, just not enough on it to be a challenge against the keeper. But that's what we like to see. We like to see Nick firing on all cylinders to try to get us back in this game. As Julian plays this ball across to Matthew. Matthew plays this ball through to Karapetian. Karapetian, nice one-touch pass to JC. JC scans the field. He makes a cut in. He finds Julian. Julian now looking around, nowhere to go, has to pass back to Edon. Edon now up. Edon's going to dribble forward. And he plays the ball deep down the field. Nick trying to jump and get that ball, just can't do it, as Tampa Bay now back on the run. Tampa Bay playing that ball forward and through the middle of the field. Nick trying to apply some pressure here, but Tampa Bay is a little too quick with the passing. Julian now, nice slide tackle again. Challenge for that ball. The Tampa Bay player doesn't seem to know where to go, but eventually finds a red shirt. 27, now playing that ball in. Matthew now on a very small number 17. Gets a foot to that one, but not enough, and then blocks that cross and manages to hit the photographer for the Tampa Bay team. It's going to be a corner nonetheless. As we take a look at this little guy, looks like Matthew gets a foot there, but doesn't give up on the play, and able to get his right foot to the cross, potentially preventing another goal. As we wait here for the corner for Tampa, they take it short. They cut inside. Number 7 plays it across. Number 27 shot. Another goal. Tampa Bay 4, South Florida 1. Not much of a shot. Looks like Lano went to block it and actually got a deflection on it. I believe Brandon would have been able to come away with that one. Just poor luck again for South Florida as the kickoff goes over to Matthew. Matthew now scans the field, playing up to JC. This one's kicked out of bounds by Tampa. Well, we can't win for trying here. Everything we seem to do is just not good enough at this point. Tampa Bay is, again, a very controlling team. They're controlling the ball very well. Good decision making on their part. And as best as we can play, it just doesn't seem like Lady Luck wants to be in our corner today. Bad bounces with the ball. Nice slide tackle by Edon, kicking that ball out of play with authority. As Edon tries to get this team revved up and forget about the scoreline, just play the game. As he takes out that Tampa Bay player in the process. Throw in. Matthew heads the ball, kicks the ball up the field. JC trying to come down with it. Lano then tries to deflect it out. And it's going to be a Tampa throw. Well, they're not quitting, that's for sure. South Florida is still fighting for every ball, but they just look exhausted out there, as this has been a long game. And Tampa just seems to be able to, everything just goes their way. Even when a South Florida player gets a foot to a ball, they still get it. As Matthew plays this one out for a corner. We'll see if they take another short kick? They do not. Wow, this one's a bullet across the center of the goal. Looked like a Tampa Bay player got a foot to it. That could have been 5-1 very easily. But luckily enough for us, it went out of bounds for a goal kick. Brandon taking it short, plays it out to Lano. Lano out to Gavin. Gavin looking around, plays it up easily to Carpathian, who plays it on to Martin. And it's going to go into touch for a South Florida throw. Not too much time left in the game. Let's hope that we can get some more goals on the scoreboard here. As Martin takes a long throw back towards Lano. Lano across to Edon. Edon on the run, telling Matthew to move forward as he brings the ball up. Makes a nice little move on 17 here. He's about double his size as he plays the ball up to JC. Matthew on the overlap. JC dribbles on the cross. He's looking, finds Nick. Nick plays it over to Matthew. Matthew now looking to cross the ball over and does. Looking at the back post. Oh, number 9 was there. He just jumped a little too soon. I even think the ball may have been over his head regardless. As now a foul is called. Take another look. The ball was going toward the back post. Yeah, I think he just jumped a little too early. Probably anticipating that ball, as I'm not even sure what the foul call was here. But Tampa Bay is now back in possession. Matthews applying the pressure here, and does so effectively as Carpathian gets a foot to the ball, just unable to make anything happen. And Tampa Bay again controlling very nicely, passing the ball from side to side, as number 19 is in possession and passes it up forward. Number 30 now on the ball, who's been considerable with his ability on the ball today, causing a lot of problems as he dribbles this ball across from one side of the field to the next. Matthew now applying the pressure here and is able to come away with it. And it looks like there's a little bit of a scrum for the ball, and a foul is called. Looks like this one's going to go South Florida's way. Edon rushing over. Makes the pass to Matthew. Matthew passes back to Edon. Edon looks up, blasts this ball forward, and it's going to be South Florida ball about midfield. South Florida in a little bit of a hurry, trying to get this ball going. As Carpathian throws this ball back to Edon. Edon playing across now to Gavin. South Florida calming the ball. There's really no rush here. Just trying to work a nice play as this ball goes up to Martin. Martin takes a little too much of a touch on the ball as it's given away. Tampa Bay now in no rush. Finding short passes, looking around the field, and passing this ball back onto the other side. JC trying to get involved here, just being run between two players, as he's looking for some assistance but just can't find any, as Matthews not moving off his line because he has someone there as well. Shot right at the keeper. That ball again bouncing around. I don't know if it's overinflated or what is going on, but that ball, every time it hits something, it is like ricocheting like a Super Bowl. As Edon dribbles towards Matthew, passes it back. Matthew now finds Julian, and Julian going across the field to Gavin. Gavin with time of the ball. Fortunately gives it to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay now trying to find feet, just trying to kill the clock, or maybe trying to get another goal. As this ball is out of bounds despite Lionel's efforts to try to keep it in. Wait for the throw in. Tampa Bay throws this ball down the line. Able to get it out for a goal kick. Don't think he almost got it into the center of the box, but not so much as even close to it. And it plays this quickly to Lano. Lano over to Gavin. Gavin now down the line to Martin. Martin plays it back to Lano. Lano playing it, trying to get it back up to, looks like Thiago. And another, looks like a shot across as Matthew tries to deal with that, but just puts it back into the center of the box. And the center backs had to scramble in order to clear that one as Thiago was trying to chase this ball down, who came in for Martin. Cowan now up to Julian. Julian takes a deflection as Mora now having to deal with it and commits the foul. So Tampa in a dangerous spot here, just probably about 25, 30 yards away from goal. Take a look here. Again, not much of a foul, but called nonetheless. And we wait the free kick from Tampa. And it's a nice shot, but it's well wide of the goal. No danger there for Brandon. Can't blame them for taking a shot, as they are well in command of this game. About 10 minutes left to play. Ball played up to JC from Brandon. JC trying to split the defenders to no avail. And they come away with it as they turn and dribble around South Florida. Matthew now getting involved. Number 30 playing across, finds 27. 27 trying to get it out to number 2, but it looks like Nick's going to apply some pressure there. And a little bit of a scrum for the ball, and it turns into a foul for South Florida. Tampa now playing the ball back up. A little bit of a missed touch there, but able to deal with it. And another foul committed by Mora. That's 2 in quick succession, and it looks like, yep, the referee went to his back pocket, and it's a yellow card for Mora. Again, not much we're into these fouls. I guess because they came so quickly together, he's given them a yellow. I've seen much more aggressive fouls from the Tampa team, but with little than a warning from the players that committed them. But a yellow card for Mora as we are waning the time away here. Good fight on the sideline. Tampa Bay comes away with it. Tampa getting rushed a little bit more. As we said, they get rushed in certain areas, but they have absolutely no rush to take these throws. As here comes another ball into the box, number 30, and Matthews there to deal with it and puts it away for a corner. Number of corners for Tampa so far. This one's taken long. Nice header to the ball. Gets it across goal. And Idonzi there to deal with it. JC waiting on the ball. Now we got a run here. Karapetian running forward. JC with a step over. Finds Karapetian with the ball. And he just can't get there. Nice pass by JC. Outside of the foot pass. Curling into Karapetian's path. Just didn't have enough gas to get him where he needed to go. And that ball is played out. JC takes throw on the Karapetian. JC back in the ball, looking, trying to roll through again. Tampa Bay defender got his foot to the ball, stopping that attack. Now switching the side. Tampa Bay is rolling up the field once again. Looking dangerous as they roll by Cowell, but it looks like there's another foul called. Not sure what this one is. There's some... I don't know. Looked like shoulder-to-shoulder contact to me, but foul called by the line judge as they take this free kick, and it's into a dangerous area in the box, but Edon there to kick it away and up the field by Kawa. As here we go, Tampa in the box again. Thiago now getting involved. Some fancy footwork there, but can't come away with it, but does draw the foul. So let's see what this one is. Well, whatever it is, the referee does not like arms being up in the air because I don't even see a foul there. I don't know what he called, but I did see a lot of arms in the air. So maybe it's the illusion of a foul in what he called, but not much there. As we're trying to get this ball advanced, the ball goes into touch again for a South Florida throw. Well, not too much excitement. The South Florida side of things. Lots of excitement from Tampa and just coming from patient and passing play from their part. This ball's given away again in the middle. Again, Mora called for a foul. And let's take another closer look at this one. Yep, he gives him a little tug. Okay, that's a little bit. That's 3 fouls now for Mora within a short time span. Looks like the referee's talking to him. He's probably telling him another one. He's probably going to give him a red card. But I can't really blame Mora. He's trying his best to prevent this Tampa Bay team from going on the offensive. And what else can you do sometimes other than give a little tug to the jersey? It's one of the least things that you can do, considering what we've seen so far in this game, that he could have done. As this ball's played deep into the box, Mora heads that one up, and Kawhi tries to get that one away. As this one gets played out to the side again. Uh-oh, this could be deja vu. The ball's coming in for a cross, and it's headed away by Edan with no hesitancy there to do so. Looked like Brandon was coming off his line, but Edan was not taking any chances, as he did not want to see that ball in the back of the net for a fifth time. Corner for Tampa Bay. Another ball. This one short of the box. Moore gets ahead to it. Ball rattles around in there. Lano finally gets a foot to it, but it's still in a dangerous area. This one, a little dribbler towards Brandon, who's easily able to pick it up and rolls it out to Matthew. Matthew plays the ball long down the field. Can't find a South Florida shirt. Goes back into a dangerous area. And now number 8 from Tampa's on it. Matthew trying to get a foot to it. Can't do it. 14 from Tampa now trying to move this ball forward. Does to a certain degree. Matthew there to get a foot on it as Edan comes and clears it once again with authority. That ball just kind of dribbled in there. It was dangerous. I think number 11 would have been offside if Brandon had not been there. As Matthew gets in there and is called for the foul. Again, referee doesn't appear to like hands being anywhere near another player. I didn't really see much of a push there. Matthew was draped over him like a cheap suit. But I didn't see much of a foul as this ball's sent into the box once again. And Edan heads it away for a corner. So another corner coming up from Tampa Bay. As we take a look at this foul. Yeah, he's all over him. But honestly, I think it's just the fact that Matthew probably outweighs him, which is why he was knocking him down. This ball is played short and is now getting worked around the box. As this ball's sent in. Ooh, that was a good ball. But South Florida there, as Edan is now off to the races, trying to make something happen here, trying to spur this offense forward. Oh, just a heavy touch there on the ball. Matthew comes away with this one, at least partially, but not enough to clear it. Edan quickly back to try to help out on the defense, and looks like he's taking a call for a foul as Tampa Bay takes this really quick. South Florida is out of position here. They're in a dangerous spot. Across the goal. Brandon's there. Another shot. Brandon's there again, and this one is eventually cleared. Oh, man. Dangerous play here. Edan seemed to turn to argue with the play, and they got the ball down quick. As you see, the ball gets across here. Number 8 gets a foot to it. Brandon gets down quickly. Ball still down. 8 gets another foot to it. Brandon's able to leap from a landed position in order to get another hand to it, preventing that 5th goal. But another corner for Tampa. Well, there's definitely some fight left in this team. They haven't given up, like I said, as this ball comes in and is dealt with. Brandon now looking up the field, punts the ball towards Nick's direction. Tampa Bay player, kicks it into Nick's chest. Nick's down with the ball, trying to get it forward. Meets the Tampa Bay player, and there's a quick foul call. We'll take another look at this. I didn't really see much of a foul there, but hey, we'll take it. As Edan puts this ball down on the ground, is now playing it across. Finds JC. JC's now on the ball, trying to make something happen. Trying to get away. He's got away from 2 defenders. He plays the ball back to Matthew. Matthew now over to JC, coming through the middle. JC now looking across again. Finds Mora. Mora now playing the ball up to Matthew. Matthew now looking across again. And here comes the ball. In the keeper's hands. Well, the ball was definitely up in the air. It was anybody's guess, but the keeper just jumped up and was able to snatch that away. And another promising attack by South Florida, but quick to be dealt with as this ball's played out to the left side for Tampa. Ball comes across the middle. Aaron pass. Julian gets on top of it. Now Moore is on the ball. Moore gets on his left foot, but it's blocked by the Tampa Bay player. Now Tampa back on the attack on the right side. Moving this ball. South Florida trying to get back desperately. Ball's played forward. Lano's there. Lano plays it up. South Florida in possession. Playing the ball back. Not enough time really to be playing the ball back safely, but I guess we're taking what we can get. As Julian's down the ball in the middle of the field, he plays it back to Edan. Edon now playing the ball up to JC, who's open. And JC moves the ball forward. He finds Karapetian. Karapetian now looking up the field. Finds Nick, but he can't get it to him. As Tampa Bay plays it back to their keeper, probably for the first time in this game. They play it across. That's an errant pass, I think. As Thiago comes away with it, plays it over to Mora. Mora plays a nice touch up to Nick. Nick now looking forward, finds JC. JC lines up, looks like a shot. Oh, and Mora was almost there to put it in as well. Wow. Nick, nice little touch out to JC as he goes down to the ground. JC takes that, looks like it was a shot to that left corner, just missed, and even Mora almost got in on that to put that in the back of the net. Man, what an amazing goal that would have been. Uh-oh, some trouble here. Nick's on the ball. Nick charging in. He's got options. He paces. Oh, back of the net. Beautiful goal, South Florida. Well, it might be too little too late, but still, that's a heck of a goal. All created by Nick and the pressure that he put on the ball. Looks like the center back for the Tampa Bay team just got himself in bit off a little bit too much than he could chew. As we take a look overhead, you can see Nick is pressuring the ball, comes away with it, dribbles across, and bam, corner. Beautiful placement of the ball in that net, and it is now 4-2, which is at least a little bit more respectable than 4-1, as we originally led in this game early on. Tampa Bay now just looking to prevent any further goals from occurring, I'm sure, but look a little harried here, as they're not as calm as they had been previously in the game. As a foul is called here. Yet again, I'm not 100% sure for what, but it is called, and it's going to be Tampa Bay ball. Here we go. Tampa now on the attack, surprisingly, as they're committing players forward. That ball goes nowhere and is out for a goal kick. Brandon quickly picks it up, trying to get this ball back into play so he can try to put another goal in the back of the net. As he looks up, he goes deep down the field, but Tampa's there to head it back towards him. Ball again played up. Fortunately, only a Tampa Bay player there who kicks it back and out of play. Well, time is waning down here. There can only be minutes left. Let's hope that this is going to be a good turnaround for us. Nick plays this ball forward. Finds JC. JC cutting across. Finds Mora. Mora now on the ball, on his left foot. Takes a shot. And it goes wide of the net. I don't know if it was a shot or if he was looking for Karapetian, but it did go wide of the net. That's still some good play from South Florida here late in the game. As Tampa plays this ball out of the back. Playing it pretty well now. Find number 21 dribbling around with the ball. Oh, gives the ball away as Thiago comes away with it. Thiago now looking for Nick. Nick on the run again, as looks like a foul call for him, as the Tampa Bay players are doing anything they can to hold him back, including using their arms, and they're finally called for it. Nick lines up for the free kick. He strikes. It's high, and it looked like it was going back post, and the Tampa Bay player plays it safe and goes out of bounds. In the second half stats, a little bit more passing for Tampa, 144 to 134. We have 97 completions for 72%. Tampa only has 70% completions. We do have 5 shots on goal this half with 5 shots with 2 being on goal, but Tampa has had 8 with 7 on goal. We have committed 11 fouls to Tampa's 7, and they've had 5 corners, which we have had none. So that is the tale of the tape for the second half. A little bit more presentable for South Florida as far as shots and passing. But unfortunately, the only stat that matters is the score, which unfortunately we are losing 2-0. Another foul called as the Tampa Bay player pushes in the back once again. This time Mora lines up on the free kick using that left foot. Places it around the wall, but right to the keeper as he's able to just land on that. And that will do it for the ball game. The referee blows the final whistle. Your score here in Tampa is 4-2. And as we said earlier, it was definitely a different lineup at the beginning of the game, which resulted in a goal very early on. But it seems that the Tampa Bay team adjusted, stuck to their game plan of controlling the ball, passing, and looking for opportunities, which they did very well, coming away with that first goal. And then their second goal, I have to say that fate kind of intervened, causing that ball to bobble and ended up going in the back of the net. But as you can see here from the stats, good passing by South Florida, 291 passes attempted, 222 completed for 72%, actually having a higher passing completed percentage than Tampa. But the shots is definitely where it matters. Tampa Bay a total of 15 shots, 12 on goal, compared to 6 shots for South Florida, 3 being on goal. 17 fouls called against South Florida, 12 to Tampa Bay. 7 corners for Tampa Bay, 1 for South Florida. So 15 shots, 12 being on goal, 4 in the net. That's a 25% success rate for Tampa Bay when they have shots on goal. That's pretty unheard of. Well, I've said it once and I said it again. Fate kind of stepped in on the side of Tampa Bay, and unfortunately it just wasn't on our side today. We hope that you join us next week while we play Idea Sport in Davenport. Until then, have a safe trip, and we'll see you next time.